Mandeep, Dhillon, co-founder and CEO of Togetherville. We build the safe social web for kids and their grown-ups.
And how do you make a safe social web for kids and their grown-ups?
It's not an easy process. Togetherville tries to take the best of the social web that parents are used to, which is primarily Facebook, and build it a separate experience for children on a Togetherville platform that allows them to have a lot more flexibility while parents maintain control.
Okay, why don't you show us real quick kind of what we're
Yeah, so in Togetherville, a kid has an account that's very much similar to what the Facebook account would look like. They have the ability to communicate through safe closed text drop-downs, where they have, quipping is how we manage that. They have the ability also beyond just the closed text to provide opportunities to express themselves. I am so cool. They submit that. Togetherville curates these and puts them into their own category.
So you filter those?
We filter these to make sure that they're content appropriate and they're not releasing personally identifiable information. The site is very COPPA compliant, so we want to make sure that kids are not putting personally identifiable information on the web. But within that context, we still provide a lot of flexibility. Kids can go through and find videos in our large repository of videos. By favoriting them, they can add them to their stream. They can watch them right here. They have the ability to like them with simple interactions or comment on them. Make it stop is an example of this one. They can receive gifts, share them back and forth. They can create art that then gets shared with their friends, but they also get the social context, so the people in their life have a chance to engage directly with the content that the children are creating in Togetherville. And we do this by surrounding the child with a safe real-world network. So anybody who's in Togetherville in my child's neighborhood are people who we know in the real world. So these are some of his friends, and they are all people who are known to me and my wife and are somehow connected to us on the social web.
Tell me a little bit more about the challenges in creating a social web for kids.
Yeah, the social web for kids is really interesting because kids want to have the same flexibility that adults do. They watch their parents on Facebook all day long and they want a similar experience. So what we try to do is figure out how do we allow kids to express themselves in a safe way. And so one thing we've done is moved away from anonymity. And in order to do that, we had to get real people. The only way you get real people is trust. So we make the parent create an account for a child. We allow them to do that. And then they can upload the specific information about their kid that creates that account and makes it more enjoyable for the child.
So the parent creates the account?
Yes.
And then how are communications moderated?
Yeah, so the parent has their own interface in Togetherville. So the kid has their neighborhood and their space, and the parent has theirs. So through this notion of a family room that is on togetherville.com page, the parent can log in using their Facebook credentials. They don't have to sign up for a separate account. And then they have the ability to interact directly with their kids and what they're doing. So from my Togetherville account, I have the ability to check out my son's profile, see all the things that he's been up to, comment on top of the things that he's created. I can like things, which I've already liked this one. I can add a comment on top of it, cute just like you. I have the ability to share these things to Facebook as well. So I can then extend it out to my own network of friends outside of this platform. The kid doesn't have to then anyway be on Facebook. But I get the benefit of having him connected to the people that I know outside of this environment.
So you're in private beta
yes.
right now, and
We'll be opening up to public beta very soon, we're looking forward to having more people come and try out the system. We believe that it provides kind of the best view, the best engaging social interaction between adults and children using the social web while keeping kids safe online.
And you said you pivoted a few times
right.
since you started the company. 3 years ago you started the
yes.
company. And how have you changed, how have you evolved
right.
since starting 3 years ago?
I think there's a lot that's changed about the web in the last 3 years, and we've tried to keep up with that. Kids generally are very early adopters of any technology that's out there, and when it comes to social, we're very concerned about them. Previously, we were building safe browsers because we wanted to give them access to more of the web, and the conventional way of doing that was to build a browser environment that allowed them to see stuff without being exposed. We've moved more to the social environment because that's actually the way most adults engage with the web. And so the pivots from safe browser to safe social environment has been one of the kind of key learnings for us over the last few months, that kids want and can express themselves very, very well. And we tried to build an environment that made that communication safe.
How was a Togetherville account created?
Yeah, so we don't require a parent to set up for a new account themselves. They can use their Facebook ID. So they can go, if they see an item in the Togetherville stream, in the Facebook stream that's from Togetherville, they can click into it and it's giving them an opportunity to sign up for Togetherville right there. And then they can go into that interface we ask them to allow to add children. With a first name, username, and password, you can create a kid's account in Togetherville.
So parents create the account.
Yes.
And then kids can go on and then they
Yes,
can kind
the
of...
kids then go log into the kids site of Togetherville with their username and password, and then they can continue to build out their profile, engage with videos, games, applications that are their own interest. They go into the My World section when they log in, and they can engage with a variety of things. They can search through the content we have, create things, play things, or just watch videos that they and their friends will enjoy together.
And then how do they find friends?
Right. So the parent creates the real world network. So the parent has the add friends capability within the adult interface. And so the child and the parent will work together to make sure that the people that the kids know can get added into their network.
Okay, so it's always, there's kind of a series of checks and balances
Exactly.
in creating.
Yeah, and both parents have to agree for a friendship to be created in Togetherville.
And then who can communicate with whom?
Yeah, so a kid can communicate with other kids in their neighborhood, and they can also communicate with adults who have been friended with them in their neighborhood. So if I've added somebody to my child's neighborhood, like my mother, my son's grandmother, he has the ability to communicate with her back and forth because they've been invited in. Parents of other friends also have the ability to communicate if they've been added as friends. But if you have somebody who's connected to a child who you don't know in the real world, they don't necessarily have access to communicate with your child. That's something that has to be granted by both parents.
How do you monetize a site like this, given
Right.
that it's, you have so many rules surrounding, and you can't collect information, and you've got to do all this stuff?
It's a very challenging process, but what we think we found is that a user's intent is a really important thing to see, and we've noticed it with the iPhone and the iPad, is that kids and parents are used to this notion of microtransactions, small, high-valued interactions that they like, and so the Togetherville platform focuses on virtual gifts, virtual goods, and applications that a child can buy with an allowance that we think their parents will give them. So there's no subscription, there's no advertising, it's a free site to use, but we will encourage parents to give their kids an allowance that they can earn through whichever ways the parent feels comfortable, and they can use that to buy things in Togetherville.
And only a parent can give their child...
Other adults connected to the child can also give them allowance. So grandparents and uncles and aunts can spoil the kids just as much as anybody else can. But they have to be connected.